First contact's price. The quantum pulse detector aboard the UES Horizon wasn't supposed to be active during routine patrol. Dr. Sarah Chen had insisted on running it anyway, earning eye rolls from the bridge crew. Just another of the doc's pet projects, they'd whispered. But when the detector's alarm shattered the monotony of their outer solar system sweep, those whispers turned to stunned silence. "Captain Martinez, you need to see this," Sarah called, her fingers dancing across the holographic display. The signal pattern pulsed in an unmistakably artificial sequence, prime numbers repeated with mathematical precision. Captain Elena Martinez crossed the bridge in 3 quick strides. Source: edge of the Kuiper Belt, bearing 227 Mark 43, Sarah replied, not taking her eyes off the display. "It's like nothing we've ever recorded. The quantum signature suggests technology far beyond our current understanding." Martinez's jaw tightened. Humanity had spent centuries wondering if they were alone in the universe. Now, on an otherwise unremarkable Tuesday, they had their answer. Security status: no signs of weapons activation or scanning beams, Lieutenant Wong reported from Tactical. But the signal, it's getting stronger. The bridge crew watched as a point of light materialized on their main viewport, growing larger with each passing moment. The object's surface rippled like liquid metal, defying conventional physics. "It's decelerating," Sarah announced, her voice barely above a whisper. "Matching our orbit." Martinez straightened her uniform. 15 years of command experience, and nothing had prepared her for this moment. "Open ship-wide channels." "Channel open, Captain." "All hands, this is the captain speaking. We are about to make history. First contact protocols are now in effect. This is not a drill. Whatever happens next, remember your training and remember that you represent not just the United Earth Space Force, but all of humanity." The alien vessel came to a stop 5 kilometers off their port bow. Up close, its hull seemed to bend light itself, creating impossible geometries that made the eyes water. Then, without warning, a beam of pure white light connected the two ships. "Captain." Wang's hands flew across his console. They're transmitting data directly into our computer core. Firewalls are holding. But let it through, Sarah interrupted. These patterns, they're not an attack. It's a language primer. They're teaching us how to communicate. Hours compressed into minutes as the ship's AI processed the alien data stream. Sarah worked frantically, correlating linguistic patterns with known human languages. Finally, her console chimed. "Translation matrix established," she announced. "We can." A voice filled the bridge, neither male nor female, young nor old. "We are the Nexus. We bring morning." Martinez stepped forward. "This is Captain Elena Martinez of the United Earth Space Force vessel Horizon. We welcome." "There is no time," the voice interrupted. "The hegemony comes. They have already begun their approach to your system." "The hegemony?" Martinez asked. "Those who would deny you your rightful place among the stars. They believe emerging civilizations must be contained, controlled, shaped to their design." Sarah's console erupted with new alerts. "Captain, long-range sensors are detecting multiple quantum wake signatures. Massive ones, approaching from the direction of Alpha Centauri. The hegemony believes they alone should determine which species rise and which remain bound to their worlds." The Nexus voice continued. "We have watched you, humans. Your potential exceeds their narrow vision. You think differently. You solve problems in ways we have forgotten were possible." Martinez's mind raced. First contact had just become first conflict, and humanity was caught in the middle of something they barely understood. "What are our options?" "We offer alliance, knowledge, the means to defend yourselves, but you must choose quickly. The hegemony's arrival is imminent." The bridge fell silent. Humanity's first contact wouldn't be a celebration of cosmic fellowship, but a choice between submission to an unseen authority or resistance alongside an unknown ally. Martinez looked at her crew, the best Earth had to offer. She saw no fear in their eyes, only determination. Whatever came next, they would face it together. "We choose freedom," Martins declared. "We choose to stand with the Nexus." "Then let us begin," the voice replied. "For what the hegemony has forgotten, humanity will remind them. The strongest chains are those freely chosen, and the greatest power lies not in control, but in unity." The white beam connecting their ships pulsed brighter, and the real first contact began. Humanity's isolation had ended, but their greatest challenge was just beginning. In the space between stars, an ancient power was about to learn that not all emerging civilizations would bow to their will. Some would fight back, and humanity had been fighting their whole existence. The age of Earth's innocence was over. The age of resistance had begun. The diplomatic dance. Admiral James Chen stared at the holographic display floating above the United Earth Defense Council chamber. The image showed Earth's solar system, now surrounded by a network of quantum detection arrays, technology that hadn't existed 3 months ago. The Nexus had certainly delivered on their promises of knowledge sharing, but time was running out. "The hegemony fleet will reach our system within 2 weeks," Chen announced to the assembled leaders. "Our allies have provided us with their tactical data, but the hegemony's technological advantage remains significant." Dr. Sarah Chen, newly appointed head of the Xenotechnology Integration Division, stepped forward. Her sister's death aboard the UES Horizon during first contact had only strengthened her resolve. The Nexus databases have revealed something fascinating about hegemony technology. They'd been using the same systems, unchanged, for over 10,000 years. Murmurs filled the chamber. Council President Isabella Rodriguez leaned forward. "They haven't innovated in 10 millennia. How is that possible?" "Because they haven't needed to," Sarah replied. "The hegemony maintains power through technological superiority. They suppress innovation in controlled species and eliminate those they can't control. But this creates a weakness. They've forgotten how to adapt." The chamber's main door slid open as Ambassador Zix of the Nexus entered. The alien's crystalline form caught the light, sending rainbow patterns across the walls. "Dr. Chen speaks truth. The hegemony's strength is also their greatest vulnerability. They expect compliance, not resistance. They anticipate surrender, not innovation." Chen nodded, "Which is exactly why our strategy might work." "Show them." "Sarah." The hologram shifted, displaying a new image that caused several council members to gasp. It showed what appeared to be standard Earth defense satellites, but their internal structures had been completely redesigned using principles that melded human ingenuity with Nexus quantum technology. "We're calling it Project Prometheus," Sarah explained. "The hegemony sensors will detect normal defense platforms, but these systems operate on principles they haven't encountered before. They combine our AI adaptive algorithms with Nexus quantum mechanics in ways neither of our species had considered." Ambassador Zix's crystalline form pulsed with what they had learned was approval. "This is why we chose to contact humanity. You see connections we miss, possibilities we overlook. The hegemony believes they face primitive newcomers. They do not understand that Earth's relative youth is an advantage." President Rodriguez studied the designs. "How confident are we in these systems?" "We've run thousands of simulations," Chen replied. "But the real advantage isn't the technology, it's how we're using it. The hegemony expects us to deploy defenses according to their standard protocols. Instead, we're creating an entirely new combat doctrine." Sarah highlighted several points in Earth's orbit. "We're positioning our platforms in what appears to be a standard defensive grid, but each satellite contains quantum entanglement nodes. The entire network can reconfigure instantly in ways the hegemony's tactical computers won't predict. They'll be fighting an enemy that literally changes its strategy at the speed of thought." "There's more," Chen added. "Show them the Lazarus Protocol." The hologram shifted again, displaying what looked like ordinary civilian ships. "We've been evacuating our outer colonies," Sarah explained, "but not all those transport ships are what they seem. Some contain sophisticated manufacturing facilities. If the hegemony destroys our defense platforms, we can rebuild them faster than they can adapt their targeting protocols. Ambassador Zix moved closer to the display. We have shared all we can, but humanity has already taken these tools in directions we never imagined. The hegemony believes they face a simple containment action. They do not understand they are about to encounter something unprecedented. President Rodriguez stood, her decision made. How soon can we have the network operational? 10 days, Sarah replied, barely ahead of their arrival. Then we have no time to waste. Rodriguez turned to address the full council. For centuries, humanity dreamed of making contact with alien civilizations. We imagined peaceful exchanges of knowledge and culture. Instead, we find ourselves facing an empire that would deny us our right to grow, to innovate, to determine our own destiny. She paused, looking at each council member in turn. But we also found friends among the stars. The Nexus chose to warn us, to help us, because they saw in humanity something precious: our creativity, our adaptability, our unwillingness to accept limitations imposed by others. Now we will prove their faith in us was not misplaced. The council chamber erupted in applause. As the meeting adjourned, Sarah approached her brother. The Horizon's sacrifice bought us this chance, she said quietly. We won't waste it. Chen squeezed her shoulder. No, we won't. The hegemony thinks they're coming to contain a primitive species. Instead, they're about to learn why humanity has survived every challenge our harsh world has thrown at us. We don't just adapt, we thrive on adversity. Above them, the hologram continued to display Earth's revolutionary defense network, each point of light representing humanity's determination to forge their own path among the stars. The hegemony was coming, but Earth would be ready. They had to be. The alternative was unthinkable. Operation Broken Chain. The hegemony fleet emerged from quantum space exactly where Earth's defenders predicted, a textbook deployment pattern unchanged for millennia. Admiral Chen watched from the command center beneath Lunar Base Alpha as 8,000 alien warships materialized in perfect formation, their crystalline hulls reflecting sunlight like artificial stars. They're executing standard containment protocols, Sarah reported, her hands dancing across the quantum interface, just as the Nexus archives indicated. Formation suggests they're preparing for the sphere of submission. Time to show them humanity's response to demands of submission, Chen replied. He opened a channel to all Earth Defense Forces. Operation Broken Chain is now active. Execute Protocol Prometheus. Across Earth's orbital space, the seemingly standard defense platforms began to shift. Not physically. Their positions remained unchanged. But quantum fields rippled through space as the entire network reconfigured itself at the subatomic level. The hegemony's initial scan washed over Earth's defenses. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then chaos erupted. Multiple targeting locks from hegemony vessels, Lieutenant Park announced. They're confused. Their sensor returns don't match their tactical database. On the main display, the hegemony fleet's perfect formation wavered. Their first salvo of energy weapons fired, streaking toward Earth's defensive grid. But where their targeting computers predicted vulnerable defense platforms, they found only quantum echoes. The real platforms had shifted their quantum states, becoming effectively invisible to hegemony targeting systems. Counter-battery fire, Chen ordered. Earth's platforms responded, but not with conventional weapons. Each satellite generated overlapping fields of quantum disruption, creating zones where the laws of physics themselves became unpredictable. Hegemony shields, designed to resist known forms of energy weapons, offered no protection against localized changes in fundamental forces. 23 hegemony vessels disabled, Sarah reported. Their shield generators are trying to compensate, but they can't adapt to the changing quantum states fast enough. The hegemony fleet's response was immediate and devastating. Thousands of weapons fired simultaneously, filling space with enough energy to vaporize continents. But humanity had planned for this too. Lazarus Protocol engage, Chen announced. As hegemony weapons struck Earth's defensive grid, satellites shattered and vaporized, exactly as predicted. But even as they were destroyed, quantum entanglement nodes activated. Deep within the civilian ships scattered throughout the solar system, manufacturing systems spun to life. New platforms emerge, their designs already altered based on combat data from their destroyed predecessors. "They're targeting our manufacturing ships," Park warned. "Right on schedule," Chen smiled. "Execute Protocol Hydra." The civilian ships that had appeared to be easy targets suddenly released clouds of quantum-shifted debris. Each piece contained a miniature version of the defensive platform's quantum disruption technology. The hegemony's targeting systems, trying to track thousands of small objects instead of a few large ones, began to overload. "Sir," Sarah's voice was tense with excitement, "the hegemony fleet is attempting to regroup. Their formation. They're falling back on battle pattern Sigma 7, a formation they developed 9,000 years ago to counter swarm tactics." Chen nodded. "Perfect. Activate the Nexus corridors." Hidden quantum gates, built using knowledge shared by the Nexus, flared to life behind the hegemony fleet. Earth's real warships, hidden until this moment, emerged from quantum space directly into the hegemony's blind spots. "This is Captain Maria Santos of the UES Defiant." A new voice filled the command center. "Task Force Liberty is engaged. These bastards don't know what's about to hit them." Earth's warships, smaller than their hegemony counterparts, but far more maneuverable, dove into the enemy formation. Their weapons combined human fusion technology with Nexus quantum principles, creating effects the hegemony's ancient tactical computers couldn't predict or counter. "Hegemony fleet is breaking formation," Park reported, disbelief evident in his voice. "Multiple ships attempting emergency quantum jumps. Their coordination they're in complete disarray." Chen watched as humanity's first space battle continued to unfold. The hegemony's superior technology meant nothing in the face of weapons and tactics they couldn't understand or predict. Their rigid adherence to ancient doctrine had become a fatal weakness. "Send word to the Nexus," he ordered. "Tell them Phase 1 is successful. The hegemony fleet is not just being defeated, they're being educated. They're learning that humanity will not be contained, will not be controlled, and will not bow to those who think technological superiority equals the right to rule." Sarah's console chimed with incoming data. "Sir, we're detecting quantum wake signatures. More hegemony ships incoming." "Good," Chen replied. "Let them come. Each battle teaches us more about their weaknesses, and we adapt faster than they can comprehend. Humanity has spent its entire existence overcoming superior forces through innovation and determination. Why should the stars be any different?" The command center erupted in cheers as another hegemony battleship succumbed to Earth's quantum disruption fields. The battle was far from over, but humanity had proven something crucial. In the space between stars, determination and adaptability could overcome even the most advanced technology. The age of hegemony dominance was ending, one quantum shift at a time. Ripples across the stars. The grand chamber of the Hegemony Council had stood unchanged for 12,000 years. Its crystalline walls had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, all carefully controlled, all properly contained. Now, for the first time in living memory, those walls echoed with the sounds of chaos. "Impossible." High Chancellor Vex's crystalline form pulsed with agitation as he reviewed the battle data for the 100th time. "These primitives were supposed to be contained. Instead, they've destroyed our primary containment fleet." Ambassador Zix of the Nexus stood calmly before the council, their crystalline body reflecting the chamber's light in subtle patterns of defiance. Perhaps it is time the hegemony reconsidered its definition of primitive. Across the galaxy, the news spread through quantum channels. Humanity, a species that had barely achieved interplanetary travel, had not only resisted the hegemony, they had defeated them. The ripples of this victory were already causing waves. On Earth, Admiral Chen and Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a different kind of council. Representatives from a dozen previously suppressed civilizations had gathered in secret, their quantum-encrypted transmissions converging on Earth's new quantum relay network. "The hegemony's grip is weakening," declared Ketel, a being of pure energy whose species had been confined to their home system for millennia. "Their defeat at Earth proves what many of us have long suspected. Their power relies more on intimidation than actual superiority." Sarah stepped forward, her quantum interface glowing as she projected the latest data. "We've analyzed every aspect of their technology. The hegemony hasn't truly innovated in thousands of years. They've refined and perfected their existing systems. Yes, but they've lost the ability to think beyond their established paradigms. Which is exactly why they fear species like humanity," Ambassador Zix added. "You don't just adapt, you force others to adapt to you. The hegemony cannot comprehend this. Their response to new challenges has always been to suppress or destroy. They never consider they might need to evolve." Admiral Chen activated a new holographic display, showing the status of Earth's defensive network. "We're already improving our quantum disruption technology. Each encounter with hegemony forces teaches us more about their weaknesses, but more importantly, we're sharing everything we learn." The alien representatives stirred at this. Sharing technology violated one of the hegemony's oldest laws. But then, humanity had never agreed to follow those laws. "The hegemony will retaliate," warned Senna, a representative of the silicon-based Lithosians. "They cannot allow this challenge to their authority to stand." "Let them come," Chen replied. Earth's defense was just the beginning. With each passing day, more species are joining our alliance. We're not just sharing technology. We're sharing ideas, perspectives, ways of thinking that the hegemony has suppressed for millennia. Sarah brought up a new display, showing the spread of quantum communication nodes across the galaxy. Their next attack won't find just Earth waiting for them. Already, 15 systems have adopted our quantum defense protocols. 30 more are in the process of implementation. "The age of containment is ending," Ambassador Zix declared. "Humanity has shown us all that determination and innovation can overcome even the most entrenched power." A warning chime interrupted the discussion. Lieutenant Park's voice came through the quantum relay. "Multiple quantum wake signatures detected. The hegemony is mobilizing their reserve fleets. All of them." Chen smiled grimly. "Right on schedule. They're responding exactly as their protocols dictate, with overwhelming force. That force has crushed countless civilizations," Ketal warned. "But never one that was ready for them," Sarah countered. "Never one that had turned their own predictability against them, and never one that had united others in common cause." The quantum relay lit up with new signatures as ships from a dozen species emerged from quantum space around Earth. They came in all shapes and sizes, their designs as varied as their creators. But they all shared one thing: integrated quantum disruption technology, courtesy of humanity's engineers. "The hegemony believes they face an uprising," Chen addressed the assembled representatives. "They don't understand that this is something far more dangerous. An evolution. They spent thousands of years ensuring no single species could challenge their power. They never considered that by forcing us all to adapt and innovate, they created the seeds of their own obsolescence." Sarah's quantum interface pulsed with incoming data. "The first hegemony ships will arrive in 48 hours. Their formation patterns suggest they're preparing for a full suppression protocol." "Then it's time," Chen declared. "Operation Prometheus was just the beginning. A proof of concept. Now we show them what happens when multiple species combine their innovations, their perspectives, their determination to chart their own course among the stars." The assembled representatives shared looks of determination. Centuries of suppression had ended. The hegemony was about to learn that their greatest mistake hadn't been attacking Earth. It had been creating conditions that forced humanity to become exactly the catalyst the galaxy needed. As the council chamber hummed with preparations for the coming battle, Ambassador Zix approached the Chen siblings. "There is an ancient saying among my people," they said softly. "The strongest force in the universe is not power, but change." The hegemony forgot how to change. Humanity never stops changing. That is why you will win. Above them, the quantum relay continued to pulse with new signatures as more ships arrived. The final battle for the galaxy's future was about to begin, and for the first time in 12,000 years, the outcome was not predetermined. The age of control was ending. The age of innovation had begun. Dawn of tomorrow. The combined fleet of the Alliance hung in space like a constellation born of defiance. Ships of every size and design formed patterns never before seen in galactic warfare. Formations that changed and adapted even as the hegemony's massive armada emerged from quantum space. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, now humanity's flagship. The quantum interface showed him everything. 30,000 hegemony warships arranged in their ancient battle formations, facing an Alliance fleet half their size, but representing twice as many species. "They've sent everything," Sarah noted from her station, her quantum interface pulsing with incoming data. "Every ship, every weapon. The hegemony has committed their entire military force to this battle." "Because they have to," Chen replied. "We're not just fighting their ships, we're fighting their entire worldview. If they lose here, everything they've built for 12,000 years crumbles." The hegemony's opening broadcast cut through all frequencies. "Attention, rebellious elements. You face the combined might of civilization itself. Surrender now, and your species may yet be preserved in containment. Resist, and you will be erased from history." Chen smiled. "Send our response." Sarah activated the Alliance-wide quantum network they'd created. Across thousands of ships, crews of dozens of species heard humanity's answer. "We are the future you feared. We are the change you tried to prevent. We are evolution itself, and we're done being contained." The battle began with a display of force meant to awe lesser species into submission. The hegemony's entire fleet firing simultaneously, creating a wall of energy that could shatter planets. But the Alliance fleet didn't try to tank the blast or dodge it. Instead, they let it come. "Quantum mirror arrays active," Sarah announced. The technology they developed didn't try to block the hegemony's attack. It redirected it, using the enemy's own energy against them. Hundreds of hegemony ships vanished in their own fire. "Now," Chen ordered, "show them what real innovation looks like." The Alliance fleet split into smaller groups, each employing tactics developed by different species. Lithosian ships phased through solid matter, appearing inside hegemony formations. Kutal energy vessels created localized singularities that twisted space itself, and human ships led the charge, their quantum disruption fields now enhanced by dozens of alien technologies. "They're trying to regroup," Sarah reported, falling back on containment pattern Delta. "Exactly as predicted," Chen smiled. "Execute Operation Unity." Across the battlefield, ships of different species began combining their unique technologies in ways the hegemony's tactical computers couldn't process. Lithosian phase technology merged with human quantum disruption fields. Kutal energy manipulation enhanced Nexus quantum corridors. Each combination created effects that defied the hegemony's understanding of physics itself. "Their fleet cohesion is breaking down," Sarah announced. "Their command structure can't adapt to these tactics fast enough." On the quantum network, voices from a dozen species called out victories and coordinated attacks. This wasn't just a battle. It was a demonstration of what became possible when different species were allowed to grow, innovate, and cooperate freely. The hegemony's response was predictable. They activated their doomsday protocols. Quantum weapons designed to tear apart reality itself began charging. But the Alliance had anticipated this too. "They still don't understand," Chen said. "They think overwhelming force is the answer to everything. Show them what real power looks like. Execute final protocol." Sarah activated the last technology they'd developed, a combination of every Alliance species' understanding of quantum mechanics. The fabric of space-time around the hegemony fleet began to shift, not through brute force, but through precise manipulation of fundamental forces. Quantum lockdown complete, Sarah reported. Their weapons, their engines, their very atoms, everything is contained within our quantum matrix. Chen opened a channel to the hegemony flagship. You spent 12,000 years containing other species, forcing them to live within boundaries you defined. Now you exist within boundaries we created. The difference is we're giving you a choice. The hegemony's response was immediate. You cannot hope to control us. We are civilization itself. No, Chen replied. You're just one way of doing things, a way that's outlived its purpose. Surrender and join us in building something new, something better, or remain locked in your quantum prison, a monument to the fate of those who refuse to evolve. Hours passed as the hegemony's leaders faced a choice they'd never had to make before. Around them, their mighty fleet hung powerless in space, contained by the very species they'd sought to suppress. Finally, High Chancellor Vex himself spoke. How did you defeat us? Sarah answered, her voice carrying across the quantum network. Because you only saw what you expected to see. You looked at younger species and saw threats to be contained. We looked at each other and saw potential allies, each bringing unique perspectives and abilities. You tried to suppress change. We embraced it. One by one, hegemony ships began powering down their weapons. Not all. Some chose oblivion over adaptation, their ships crystallizing in quantum stasis. But enough understood. Enough chose evolution over extinction. Admiral Chen addressed the combined fleet. Today marks the end of an age, not through destruction, but through transformation. The hegemony sought to create a static, unchanging galaxy. Instead, they created the conditions that forced us all to become something more than we were. Across the quantum network, ships of all species broadcast their agreement. The age of containment was over. The age of collaboration had begun. In the years that followed, the galaxy changed faster than it had in the previous 12,000 years combined. The Alliance became a forum where species could grow, innovate, and cooperate freely. The remaining hegemony worlds were welcomed as equals, their ancient knowledge now contributing to progress rather than suppressing it. And humanity. They continued doing what they'd always done, adapting, innovating, pushing boundaries. But now they did it alongside countless alien allies, each contributing their own unique perspective to the greatest adventure in galactic history. The stars had never shone brighter.